There are some major developments today and in the days ahead on the vaccine front. First, on booster shots, the FDA is expected to authorize mixing and matching as soon as today. So far, only the Pfizer booster has been given the green light. However, the CDC committee is meeting today and tomorrow to consider shots from Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. FDA approval for those is expected this week. Also, if you have young children, pay attention to the very first week of November. That's when the CDC is meeting to talk about vaccinating kids ages 5 to 11. If approved, the Pfizer vaccine would be the very first made available in those cases.
A vocal group of first responders are pushing back against vaccine mandates. We've seen protests in Los Angeles over a mandate for city workers. Elsewhere, some police officers and firefighters have chosen to resign. And New York just announced a new vaccine requirement affecting police officers. Jeff Pegues is following this from Washington. Jeff, good morning.
That announcement made by the mayor of New York City likely sparking the kind of debate that we've seen in other cities over this issue, because how firefighters and officers respond to these mandates could ultimately determine how quickly they get to the scenes of emergencies. Late yesterday, Seattle police officers and firefighters walked up City Hall steps to turn in their boots. They refused to comply with a state mandate to get vaccinated.
I'm wrapping up my last shift after 20 years.
In Spokane, Tim Archer gave up his job.
I'll be fired tonight by the city of Spokane.
He also refused to get vaccinated. Why didn't you comply?
I really felt like this is in violation of the civil rights that God has given us.
There has been a wave of resignations and firings in fire and police departments across the country. Los Angeles Fire reports that there have been at least 241 separations from the department. Baltimore's police department is down 279 officers. And in the last couple of years, Seattle police had more than 300 officers separate from the department. In Massachusetts, the state police union president is threatening that at least 150 state police will resign. What kind of impact could this have?
We'll have slower responses. There'll be case backlogs, processing of evidence, everything from house calls to an alarm burglary call.
I just haven't seen the data to support that.
But that's not what's playing out in some cities like Chicago, where a mandate is already in place. Only 21 sworn officers and civilian workers are not being paid for failing to comply, and that's out of 13,000 on the workforce. 8 out of 10 are vaccinated.
Officers have come to work. We've been fully staffed. There hasn't been a shift that's been short. There hasn't been this 30, 40, 50% shortage that I've heard from various sources.
In the midst of this very heated debate, it is worth noting that there are still ongoing challenges related to the pandemic for officers on the front lines. In fact, according to the Officer Down Memorial page, COVID remains the leading cause of death for police officers, nearly 5 times higher than the number killed by gunfire.
Wow, those numbers are very staggering. Thank you very much, Jeff.